engaging celebrity interviews, exciting updates from Christian filmmakers, movie reviews so you can choose your movies wisely, and so much more here on Faith on Film with Isaac Hernandez and Holly McClure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to what I think could potentially be our last episode of this year. We're about to end the year, and I can't believe how fast it's gone by. But Holly, first of all, now let's talk a little bit about traditions maybe that we've had, because I know we're in the holidays now and we all have different kinds of different kinds of traditions. What was your tradition during these holiday days?
For sure, Christmas was a big time for my family. Now, growing up with 4 girls, the big thrill was to open up presents in the morning, have our Christmas lunch or afternoon, and then we would go see a Christmas movie. And that became more so in our teen years when we were teens. It was kind of fun to go because, you know, you're not little kids playing with presents all day. It was more something we did, but we loved it as a family tradition. So when my kids were older, I did the same thing with them. We would go pick a movie and all of us would go on Christmas. So it kind of became a tradition. And I know a lot of families do. Now, whether it's Christmas Day, before, right after, you've got relatives in town. This is a big time for movies, for families to go see a movie together. What about you?
Well, coming from a Latin family, we really celebrated the gift opening on Christmas Eve. So we'd be there. We'd all get together for dinner and after church, of course, because church was always a must on Christmas Eve. But we would get together. We'd open the presents and everything, and then of course it was difficult to go to sleep because now all the kids have, you know, we had our presents and we wanted to play, and it's 2:00 in the morning, and it just was it was chaotic. And finally, we would all go to sleep. Then the next day we would eat like crazy. Lots of tamales and stuff. We didn't go see movies, though. We did see movies at home, though. We would watch whatever movies were hot that day. But that was kind of our tradition. And then continue playing with whatever toys we had received that day.
Well, we've got some excellent movies that are opening up for Christmas week that actually have opened but are going to be there for families to see. Starting off with Mufasa, the Lion King. Let's take a look at the trailer and talk about it after.
All right.
It's time. I'll tell you a story. A story of a cub, not much bigger than you.
So just to be clear, we're not in this story?
There's a lot of stories with all of us. Tell one of those.
Long before they became legends, Mufasa and the prince who would come to be known as Scar became brothers.
Hello, what's your name?
Mufasa.
I told you to wait for me. We can't just leave him here.
Rules are rules, Tucker. The king will never accept a stray.
I'm not a stray. I'm just lost.
We do not associate with outsiders. Tucker is the future king. We must protect the bloodline.
But, Dad, I saved his life. I have a secret, Mufasa. I always wanted a brother. I always wanted a brother. I always wanted a brother.
Sometimes I get a scent. It's barely a trace on the wind. And it smells like home. And then it's gone.
You and Tucker together, that is home. Now both of you go. Find your place in the circle of life.
The circle is broken. There will be one Lion King.
Mufasa, run!
We must fight together. If we fight, we die.
Just to be clear, I never signed up for this.
I'm here to protect you, my brother.
Mufasa! This was a bad idea! We're alive! I did it! I saved us!
You were saying?
Well, I'll tell you, Holly, I've not seen the movie, but just seeing the trailer, I know I want to see the movie.
I tell you, I was thinking, okay, it's an animated movie, but you go in there and you start believing you're watching real lions, and I know they're talking, but they're like, it looks like real lions. It's a new filmmaking art called photorealistically animated. So you're seeing a photorealistically animated movie. It's a musical drama, but so it has some songs in it, but it's not really song heavy. I think they, paid attention to the fact that kids aren't going to do a bunch of songs like a normal musical. So it's got a few songs sprinkled here and there, which works with the show. Seth Rogen reoccurs in it. Donald Glover, Aaron Pierce is a new character. Beyonce Knowles is in it again, and her daughter, Blue Ivy Carter. She's got a starring role. So it's mother-daughter, which is kind of unusual. James Earl Jones. He was the original voice of Mufasa, and of course he did that in 1994. And then he was able to see this movie and know they were doing it, but he died right before it came out. But they used his voice in the opening credits, so they gave it a little tribute to James Earl Jones as the original Mufasa. The story is, called Before They Were Enemies. It's Mufasa and Scar when they were friends. It's really how the relationship developed. So you're getting to know them, why there was a division, why they were against each other, why they fought as quote unquote brothers. And then it has the enemies that are known as the outsiders, the white lions who come to attack them and hunt them, and music. Now, Hans Zimmer, who I love, did the music for this, as well as Nicholas Britell. He did some of the scoring. But Manuel Miranda, they called him in to do the songs and the words of the songs, because of course he's so good at that. And I love it. There's a couple of songs, Brother, Brother, there's a couple of other ones kids will be humming and singing. In fact, I think we've got a clip. Let's let them talk about it.
All right.
Mufasa is uprooted from his home and essentially adopted by Taka. There's a moment where Taka basically says to him, I always wanted a brother. And when I read that line of dialogue in the screenplay, I said, that's my song title. And for inspiration, I didn't have to look any farther than my own home. I have two boys who are 6 and 10 years old, who drive each other crazy, but would do anything for each other. And that spirit is what animates that song.
The setting of Mufasa the Lion King comes out of this journey that Mufasa goes on. He's sort of like washed away from everything he knows, and we saw it as a great opportunity to chart this really wonderful path across the continent of Africa. And so what we wanted to do was cover and convey all these different landscapes, all these different cultures that Mufasa, Taka, Rafiki, Sarabi, and Zazu get to journey through. And to us, it was a really wonderful way of expanding the visual footprint, the visual landscape of The Lion King.
I drew and have always drawn and continue to draw enormous amounts of inspiration from the beautiful artistry of James L. Jones. He is one of my greatest inspirations. He is one of my heroes. And for me, he is the top of the mountain. Way before I even became professional in this space, I studied him. I learned from him and was greatly inspired by him. And so far as in the context of Mufasa, James L. Jones' original and beautiful and unmatched portrayal, that was my guiding light, and really gave me direction and intention when embarking on this journey. Yeah.
Now, we just heard from more than just the director and the guy talking about the music. We also heard from an actor there, didn't we?
We did. The guy who plays Mufasa, Aaron Pierce. I love how he paid a tribute to James Earl Jones. I love how he said he drew his inspiration from Mufasa's voice. And so he still has that honor, and it brings in that Lion King feel and pays that tribute to that. That was wonderful, yeah.
And he definitely has the voice, although it's still different. I mean, James Earl Jones just has such a unique voice. I don't think anybody will ever be able to really totally, copy it. But I noticed something.
He was the mature Mufasa.
He was
the mature old Mufasa.
I do notice something, though, and I want to ask you about this, because remember recently we did a little bit of a review on Wicked, and how Wicked, the story of Wicked kind of takes you back to the early days of the witches, when both witches, if you will, were good, and then what made one turn bad. This seems to be kind of a similar theme here, where we're going back to when the other lion, I forget his name, but was kind of good. They were friends. Mufasa and the other lion were friends, and then something happened. Is this like a trend that's going to be happening to movies?
To be true, well, it is a trend, and I've been seeing it for a while. We've actually been seeing with other action movies and things like that. I think when Hollywood has what they call a tent movie with a tent pole, it's a big movie. That's what makes them money. They know if they release it, they're going to make good money. They don't have to worry about it, and it kind of covers all the bad movies that they make or that don't make money through the year. So, I mean, Lion King was a winner. They knew that. So, I think Disney, especially, is looking like, oh, how can we recover? And we can do something new and make something new that we know is going to sell and be a good ticket item. But yet, we're not investing. So I think it was one of those things where they know they can't go woke anymore. They know that. It's been proven to them, and they're already backtracking. In the things that they've done. They're already pulling things from their that they had ready to release that they've already pulled because it's woke and they're not doing it, and they're changing some of their venues. So I feel this was another attempt at going, okay, this is a safe. We know we can get in there. It'll appeal to all audiences, and they're wooing families back because they know they chased away a lot of families. Christian, non-Christian, they ruined it by turning families off to what they were doing. So I feel like this is one of those, how can we make something that's a popular theme and get them back? And with Wicked, that was just how do you make money off of the Wizard of Oz? You know what I mean? Okay, let's go before. I mean, that was clearly just a way to figure out how to do that as well. But yeah, it is kind of a trend we're seeing.
Disney is definitely in trouble. I mean, not only in their wokeness in some of the movies that they've produced and that they've been producing and had planned to produce, which of course, like you said, they're pulling back now, but also in their TV network, ABC, man, they are in big trouble. So they're going to have to find a way to bring everybody back in because we're all leaving.
Yes. Snow White, the new Snow White movie they're coming out.
Right.
It's being hammered because originally they were going to put all these weird characters instead of the dwarves. Yeah. Well, that got bashed. So then now they're putting animated dwarves in it. It's already getting hammered. It's not out yet, but they're in trouble because they know. Also, she spoke out against conservatives after the election. Yeah. So Disney's they're trying to pick up the pieces. They really are.
Yeah. Now, so is Mufasa a movie that you think we should start a new tradition in my family and go see a movie on Christmas Day?
You know what? I watched it and said, okay, is there anything in this that's going to turn me off or it's going to feel woke or it's going to feel... And although there's dialogue about accepting outsiders and that family doesn't have to be, family can come from kids that are separated because, that's what Mufasa is. He was separated from his mom and dad. But it has a happy ending. But yes, I would say this is a safe movie. There's a couple of scenes where, the alligator is going to get him in the water, but they're saved. And then the white lions are attacking. And then, but there's nothing bloody or graphic for kids. It really is a PG-friendly movie. And I enjoyed it. I'm telling you, I watched the whole thing I was just enamored with the way that photorealistic, look is. So I liked it. And I think that it's going to be good for parents, with little ones and grandparents to take the kids to.
Fantastic. Of course, that's not the only movie that's out right now.
No.
What else do we have?
Well, Sonic Hedgehog 3. Yes, there's a third one. They just keep, expounding on that universe. As long as they have people that'll pay tickets to do it, they're going to do it. And now he's older. Now Sonic's a teen. So he's going through teen emotions and teen things. And Jim Carrey comes back. And who cannot love Jim Carrey?
Yeah, of course.
Let's take a look at the trailer and see what it's all about.
Here we go.
If you can't conspire with family.
There's 2 Eggmen now?
Double your villains, double your fun. Any last words?
Nice magic marble. Real scary. That actually is real scary. Trick shot. Tom, Maddie, we need your help on a super... Knuckles, do you mind?
Oh, excuse me.
Tom, Maddie, we need your help on a super dangerous top secret mission.
We're in.
Are you ready?
We were born ready.
All right, boys, try and keep up.
With Shadow's power, we can rule humanity. When we're done, there won't be anything left to rule. That is dark.
Somebody better call Google Maps.
Life's all about the choices we make. Remember to listen to your heart. You're gonna make the right choice when it matters the most.
One hedgehog to another. Who does your highlights?
The more you talk, the harder I want to hit you.
This ends now.
Our destiny awaits. You were right about one thing. This ends now.
Okay, Isaac, have you ever seen a Hedgehog movie, a Sonic Hedgehog movie?
No.
No. I know you haven't. Well, I have, because I had to go, and also I've taken kids and grandkids. But, you know, this is the third one. This is the third round. And you think, how could they find anything else about the characters? But they have Jim Carrey returns, Ben Schwartz, James Marsden cracks me up. James Marsden is in it again. It's been good for him. Idris Elba and Keanu Reeves is also in this. And it's got a new character, Shadow Hedgehog. Shadow Hedgehog is a new, menacing character. And so it's just fun. There's a storyline that goes with it. But the funny thing for me, and the interesting thing is, I love Keanu Reeves. I do. And I love Idris Elba. I mean, these are guys that have been in action movies that I've watched them fight bad guys and, do also. And I love them. They're very professional and consummate. So to watch them sit and try to be serious and talk about their cartoon character was funny to me. Let's take a look at the clip. I love how they try to discuss it.
All right.
Come on. I couldn't fight Keanu Reeves. You've got professional fight training. So do you. I do not. I just have movie training. You have like real skill.
No, man. You're doing those moves.
No.
No. I'm not one to really like impose my opinion on everyone. Not always, unless I'm asked. And so I'm not like Knuckles in that sense. You know what I mean? He's sort of like, bro, this is what I think. Bro. But I am inquisitive, and I want to understand. Tell me what happened. Did you? And Knuckles is a bit like that.
Sensitive. I'm very sensitive, and Shadow's very sensitive.
Okay. Did you watch? It's kind of funny talking about what how they like their character. And Ken goes, well, I'm sensitive. Anyway, it cracks me up. Now, of course, we have some serious discussion about this movie from the director, Jeff Fowler, and Jeff talks about his role. And the writer, let's take a look at those, because they talk about how they developed the movie. And then there's, of course, the guy who plays Sonic, and he's got something to say, too.
All right.
I think he has this ability he really put in work and tried to find the character, which is amazing. And he found it so beautifully. I think that his darkness for that role, like you look at his John Wick characters, and I think Fowler had looked at a John Wick film and was like, oh my God, this guy would crush a Shadow. So I think there's a lot of that, and I think that's a big way that we kind of connected the two. But he's an incredible actor, he can do anything. I think he rebels against his parents a little bit more. He kind of goes off and does his own thing a little bit more. I think you're seeing the decisions he makes, like him getting embarrassed sometimes, but also him getting a little bit more into things when he's fighting. He's even stronger. He's even the decisions he's making and things are more adult decisions as opposed to quick thought quick movement without thought.
What's so exciting about this third film, I mean, the second film, we certainly opened things up in a big way, but now we're really going global. I mean, Gun headquarters, where some of the story takes place, is right here in London, and we get to take advantage of this, iconic sort of setting and all the amazing landmarks. Sonic and Shadow's first meeting takes place in Tokyo, in Shibuya Crossing, which is just incredible, neon-filled, dynamic environment, and we just knew we wanted that first action sequence between Sonic and Shadow to just be splashy color and just really vibrant imagery and everything that you see in the games, and to create those kind of really dazzling visuals in the film. And then also we get to go to space in this whole third act, the Eclipse Cannon, which is a direct lift and an Easter egg from Sonic Adventure 2, but getting to go to space and get these stunning views of the Earth below. I mean, it's just, it's extraordinary. I'm so excited for everyone to see the visuals of this film, and they are so meant for the big screen. I mean, that's, I think, always in the back of our mind, not only telling a great story, telling a visual story, but just going for the biggest possible scope and just really give families and audiences and fans a reason to go to the theaters and just see this on the biggest screen imaginable.
That was more serious.
That was more serious about his character. Yeah, I know. Anyway, folks, it's one of those, if your kids were teens, because it's been around for a while, are into Sonic Hedgehog, you may want to go see it. It's just another fun movie. And of course, Jim Carrey plays 2 different bad guy roles, and it's just fun to watch him. Literally, just watch him. You know, because you know everything he did was impromptu, and he's just, creating it right there on the set. And so anyway, it's fun movie to watch that. But there are other movies out there, folks. Okay, there's several movies. There was very Isaac.
And I know you know all of them.
Well, I'm impressed with this Christmas season because traditionally at the end of the year, films are putting in their R-rated, heavier films for Oscar contention and Oscar consideration. So this is the time of year when you're getting a lot of R-rated films that are opening at Christmas, and sometimes for the kids, the pickings are slim. Well, this year, guess what, folks? We've got like 5 PG, a PG-13. So I'm going to list them if you have, pen and paper, if you want to take notes or just remember or look it up if you hear, because this is definitely something to consider to going to with the kids, to take the grandkids to, a family film. The selection is there this year, so it'll be fun.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, we just talked about Mufasa, rated PG. We talked about Sonic the Hedgehog 3, rated PG. We talked about Moana 2 last week,
that's right.
2 weeks ago, and that's PG. Wicked is PG. There's a movie, Homestead, that we talked about, PG-13. Now, that's not necessarily a little kids movie, but it is for your teens or your older adults. That's Homestead. Okay, that's PG-13. Well, Gladiator 2 is out there. There's another movie that's called A Complete Unknown, which is, Timothy, and he plays Bob Dylan, so that's a Bob Dylan. And he's getting accolades and probably will be considered for the Oscars for this role because he literally sang and learned to play the guitar and did Bob Dylan. And Bob Dylan even likes it, so that's a big one. That's R. And then The Fire Inside is a fighter. I've got a girl fighter. It's PG-13. So actually, there's another one. And Best Christmas Pageant Ever. Still in theaters, still doing well. And we've talked about that many times. Now, I'll ask Isaac, have you seen Gladiator 2?
You know what's I'm almost a little embarrassed here, but is that you named all these PG and PG-13 movies, and the one that I went to go see is the R-rated movie.
But we know why.
I'm sorry.
It's all the action and all the fighting and all the gladiatorism.
Gladiator was to me was fantastic, but that's again because a couple of reasons. One of them is I love cultures that are completely different than ours. And of course, that whole Roman culture and all that just was it's totally different because I can tell you we don't go around fighting each other with swords anymore. But so I really enjoyed that. But just the whole political intrigue also that was there, and how the 2 kings that one put the other one against the other one. I mean, it was or not kings. What do you call the Caesars? The whatever.
Yeah.
It was just to me that stuff is very interesting. Now my wife did not like it.
Right. Gladys does not like this kind of movies.
She doesn't like that kind of movies. She was like this most of the time. Every once in a while she would do this.
Because of the fight scenes, folks.
Because of the fight scenes. They're pretty strong. And the other thing...
Now, remember my comment that I made when I saw it? I said for 2 things. One is I wanted to love it, and I didn't. I liked it. And also, I had a hard time with Denzel Washington's character because we love Denzel Washington. You cannot take an actor who everyone loves, and he's a good guy in most of his roles, and make him a bad guy or a villain. It just didn't work for me. And although he's getting accolades and Oscar nominations and Golden Globe, that's just because he's Denzel Washington. It did not work for me, and I think it was miscast. What did you think?
Absolutely. In fact, when we left, one of the comments that my wife had was, I didn't like Denzel Washington. I don't think he was believable. Now, she loves Denzel. That's her absolute favorite actor. But she said, he didn't do good here. And I'm thinking, it's not that he didn't do good. It's that you just can't see him as a mean guy. So to you, it's like, he didn't do it. He didn't do well. So, yes, she did not like it. I thought he did fine. He actually was kind of scary, but she did not like it. So, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I think it kind of ruined it for some people. You can't. It's taking an iconic actor, like I said, and trying to put him into a role that really needs almost an unknown or almost an actor who's known to play bad guys, and you love to hate him. It's a love-to-hate thing. Then you feel justified walking out going, I'm glad he got it. But, not to spoil anything, but, but you're kind of walking going, there's some feelings there. So, and again, that's been out for a few weeks now, but there's probably families and people who are going to, parents, teens who haven't seen it yet and, going to want to go see it. So there's quite a selection of, there's even other ones, but I can't, recommend the others because I've not seen them and B, it's just not for our audience.
Right.
These are ones that are, in the Gladiator, a lot of people would say, well, that's not for your audience either. It's R-rated. And,
I know.
People would say, a complete unknown, and I have not seen that movie. So I am not recommending it. I'm saying it's out there, and that's going to be a big one. But I want to clarify, we have not seen A Complete Unknown about the Bob Dylan story, and I'm pretty sure there's language and there's other things in there. So I'm not recommending it. We will do that after the first video and tell you what we thought about after you've seen it. So
Now, interestingly enough, on Gladiator, it's rated R, but it's all because of the violence, because there was no nudity. I don't think I remember any language whatsoever. I mean, it's just because, blades are piercing people's bodies. That was what
and
we
rhinoceroses and animals.
And rhinoceros. Oh, that was a great scene when the rhinoceros came out. Oh my gosh, that was awesome.
But I just want to say that, looking at this last year, we've had so many movies, and we're going to be doing a show next week or next time talking about the year-end wrap-up of all the movies, and we're going to be mentioning some of the better ones that you now can watch and see and look on your streaming. But for faith-based films, because it's been a big year for faith-based films.
It has been.
And I'm so proud of the Christian filmmakers that have gone out there, the big ones that we've all heard of and some of the ones none of you have heard of, and they've gone out and made a film and it's done well in theaters, and we are just so proud of being able to feature and honor Christian filmmakers, producers, directors, writers, actors. TV show. We had a lady who's done a TV show. It's been picked up as a series, and she's won all sorts of awards for that. So we're glad that we have a format that we can show you what the good stuff is out there and what you should be watching and supporting, right, Isaac?
Absolutely, yes, yep. Well, that's it for today's show, Holly. Getting ready to go out and do our final Christmas shopping now. So fun.
And all I can say is Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Oh, of course. All right, Holly. See you next time. Bye-bye now.
Everyone. Thank you for supporting Faith on Film. We appreciate you.
Write to us at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Faith on Film TV. Also, go to our YouTube channel, Faith on Film TV, and hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications on our latest Faith on Film shows.